And as a black man,
yes,
0.1%, I resent Barack Obama accusing me of being a sexist and a race traitor. This tribal politics thing only works sometimes.
And I don't think any of us are in a position to tell Barack Obama how to message. The guy knows what he's doing. He's won 2 presidential elections, and he's one of the greatest political communicators that we've ever seen.
You know what it is?
Do you have the God Bless America Bible?
I have the New Testament.
Jessica, whether it's this Bible or it's infidelity or a person of bad character, those are very easy topics to discuss, as long as you don't discuss your stance on abortion. If you are a Catholic, let me finish. I'm not talking about you. I'm just talking because you're not Catholic, and I'm just saying that if you are a Catholic and you are upset about Donald Trump's character, and yet you are okay with voting for a person who wants abortion on demand, you're worse. I'm sorry, you're worse. And I'm just saying from when you analyze the beliefs of a Catholic being pro-life, you have no stance at all. If you are okay with abortion, you can't say, oh, Trump has a lousy character. No, you got no character. You have none.
Yep. Single issue voters, Christian community, single issue voters. That's the issue of life that Greg just beautifully spoke to. All right.
Thank you. They took him in through probation. So I assume they're like prisoners or something, and therefore they're legal. They brought in 32,000 people into a community of 50, a community that was a nice community. And now if you want to go to the hospital, you can't get in. Your children can't get into school. And what they're doing is looking, the mayor is a very nice man. I mean, I think he's nice. He's trying to be nice. He's looking for interpreters because they don't speak the language of you and everybody in this room. It's a totally different language. So they're looking for interpreters.
How far will MAGA defenders go to shield Donald Trump from criticism? Jesse Watters and Greg Gutfeld, staples of Fox News, launched questionable attacks on Barack Obama and Vice President Harris. But Jessica Tarlov had no time for their crumbling narratives. Her sharp takedown exposed the hypocrisy of Trump's so-called Christian values, leaving her co-host visibly rattled. This isn't just entertaining, it's a window into the chaos at Fox News. Stick around, you won't believe what happens next. It's almost unbelievable how, with less than 30 days until the election, we're still hearing outrageous comments from Jesse Watters on the Fox News network. His remarks never failed to shock or disturb, leaving us wondering how this level of discourse is even happening on national television. What's even more surprising is that the network, which has long championed Donald Trump, seems unable to deliver a coherent message in his defense anymore. Trump's campaign is in such chaos that their talking points have devolved into nonsensical rants like the ones we heard from Watters. But amidst the noise, there's one refreshing voice of reason: Jessica Tarlov. During an episode of The Five, she didn't just push back against her MAGA co-hosts, she completely shut them down. Her sharp responses left them visibly rattled, making her takedowns all the more satisfying to watch. Today, we'll dive into the highlights of Jessica's on-air confrontations. Not only did she call out their absurd criticism of Barack Obama, but she also exposed the hypocrisy behind their arguments. Watching her dismantle their rhetoric is a must-see moment you don't want to miss. Before we jump in though, a quick favor: if you enjoy content like this and want to support the community we're building, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It means so much and helps us bring you more of these discussions. Now let's dive into the clip where Jessica takes on her MAGA co-hosts and their wild takes about Obama's latest speech. It's almost laughable if it weren't so frustrating to see Jesse Watters and Greg Gutfeld, of all people, taking aim at Barack Obama's ability to deliver a political speech. Have these two even stopped to reflect on their own delivery, let alone the substance of their arguments? Jesse Watters, who often seems to struggle to make a coherent point, and Greg Gutfeld, whose commentary frequently amounts to little more than whiny grievances, hardly seem qualified to critique one of the most eloquent public speakers in modern politics. But let's not kid ourselves about their intentions. This isn't about Obama's style or substance, it's about damage control for Donald Trump. Obama's latest speech didn't just land it eviscerated Trump, exposing flaws and failures in a way that left MAGA defenders scrambling. And if that weren't enough, it's clear that their bitterness also extends to Vice President Kamala Harris and her team of strong surrogates who have been relentless on the campaign trail. It's no wonder Gutfeld and Watters are spinning into overdrive, trying to distract from the undeniable impact of the opposition, and yet the hypocrisy reaches new heights when Greg Gutfeld tries to position himself as a moral authority while defending Donald Trump, the self-proclaimed champion of Christian family values. Let's pause and unpack this for a second. Trump, a man on his third wife who had an affair while his previous wife was pregnant, is now peddling Bibles made in China. Yes, you heard that right, the tough on China. Narrative takes a back seat when there's money to be made, even if it means contradicting his own claims of faith and integrity. This glaring contradiction is exactly the kind of nonsense Jessica Tarlov excels at dismantling. In a fiery segment on The Five, she didn't just call out the absurdity of Trump's so-called Christian values, she crushed it. Her takedown of this MAGA-backed hypocrisy was nothing short of brilliant. And as she pointed out, the party of Christian family values supporting a man whose actions blatantly contradict those values is the height of irony. Let's not forget the deeper issue here. Trump's entire existence, as Jessica so aptly noted, is the antithesis of what Christianity or any value-driven leadership should represent. From lying and cheating to inspiring hate and division, his actions paint a clear picture of someone who thrives on chaos and manipulation. Yet MAGA figures like Gutfeld and Watters continue to defend him, not because they believe in his character, but because his cult of personality is all they have left. But what really made this segment unforgettable was Jessica's ability to turn the spotlight on the shallow nature of Trump's grift, selling Bibles to fund his legal troubles. That's not just desperation, it's a stark reminder of how far he's fallen from the so-called business genius narrative he once promoted. Jessica's pointed observations highlighted just how disconnected Trump is from the principles he claims to uphold, and watching her dismantle these MAGA talking points was nothing short of satisfying. We're just getting started, though. Up next, we'll dive deeper into Jessica's epic takedown and why it left Watters and Gutfeld scrambling for a response. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. The revelation that Donald Trump is selling Bibles manufactured in China is a masterclass in irony, exposing the shallowness of the lies he's told throughout his career. First, it dismantles his self-proclaimed status as a business genius. Let's be real, if you're truly a financial mastermind, you wouldn't find yourself in a position where selling Bibles is your go-to strategy for raising cash. It's not just a bad look, it's a glaring admission that the grift comes before all else. Trump's tough on China rhetoric? It's now little more than a talking point, as his actions blatantly contradict the image he's cultivated since his first presidential campaign. And lastly, the absurdity of a man who has spent decades immersed in scandal and greed attempting to peddle sacred texts is almost too much to process. The idea that the former president and Republican nominee is selling Bibles to cover his mounting legal fees feels like a bizarre satire of our current political landscape, but it's real. This hypocrisy didn't go unnoticed, especially by groups like the Lincoln Project, who have masterfully pointed out just how detached Trump's actions are from any semblance of reality. Their takedown wasn't just effective, it was a brutal reminder of how far Trump has strayed from even the most basic principles of integrity. But let's dig deeper. Donald Trump's entire existence flies in the face of what anyone might consider Christian values. This is a man whose life has been defined by lying, cheating, stealing, and fostering hatred toward anyone who is different from him. It's not just passive hate, it's active, orchestrated chaos. He thrives on division and inspires violence as a means to an end. For Trump, success has always been about creating turmoil, not uplifting communities or working toward a common good. His version of Christianity isn't about service or compassion, it's about using faith as a prop to further his own self-interest. And when he's not spinning lies or stoking division, he's busy playing the victim, whining about his problems rather than addressing the needs of others. The contrast couldn't be starker when you think about the true teachings of Christianity. Jesus' message emphasized inclusion, love, and care for others, values that couldn't be further from Trump's actions. One of the most memorable moments in Trump's public life came when he was asked about his favorite Bible verse. His response? A vague dodge, "There are so many, I love them all." When pressed further, he failed to name even a single verse, chapter, or book. It was a telling moment that should have raised more red flags, but instead of being held accountable, his followers leaned into the illusion, elevating him from chosen by God to something even more dangerous, seeing him as God-like himself. This evolution of the MAGA movement into a full-blown cult of personality is not just disturbing, it's alarming. Trump's dream is to exist above the law, above morality, and above critique. He doesn't want his lack of character challenged, he wants it worshipped. Thankfully, not everyone is letting him get away with it. Barack Obama, in his unforgettable speech, delivered a searing critique of Trump's values or lack thereof. It wasn't just a political attack, it was a moral indictment. And that's what had MAGA defenders like Jesse Watters and Greg Gutfeld so incensed. Watching their outrage unfold was almost as satisfying as the speech itself, as they scrambled to defend the indefensible. The disconnect between Trump's actions and Christian values couldn't be clearer, and it's up to the media and the public to continue challenging this dangerous narrative. Let's hope the conversations sparked by Obama's speech inspire more accountability in the future, because the stakes couldn't be higher. Is it really too much to ask for a president with integrity? Someone with basic character who isn't a liar, a cheat, or a fraud? It feels like such a low bar, but here we are. left wondering why this even needs to be said. Donald Trump has shown us time and time again that he represents the very opposite of these values. So why are we still holding on? Why not turn the page and move forward with leaders who reflect the decency we deserve? We'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you think it would take for the country to move forward? Can integrity and leadership ever become the focus again in today's political landscape? Let us know what you think in the comments below. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and join our community as we tackle these pressing issues head on. Don't forget to hit the like button if you found this discussion insightful. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Stay informed, stay engaged, and take care.